Greetings and welcome back to the gallery with me, Robert Cooper, who serves as the curator and the host. This month is February.
Okay, so hold on, time out. My apologies. So I have to stop the video right here because what had happened was I started doing this video in February and it took a long time for me to edit the video. So now we're in March. So I have to pivot because I didn't have enough time to edit that previous vlog. So instead of an episode featuring photographers to discuss for Black History Month, it's going to be a combination of Black History Month and Women's History Month. Fortunate for me, whenever I do a Black History Month episode, I always look at both male photographers and female photographers. So this episode will be in an alignment with both Black History Month and Women's History Month. So as always, when I do these episodes where I talk about photographers that I want to pay respect to, I hope you guys learn from them if you haven't heard of these people already. And if you want to, in the comment section below, let me know some photographers that you feel that I should also know that I haven't spoken about in any of these episodes for Black History Month or Women's History Month in the past. So without further ado, let's check out some photographers for Black History Month and Women's History Month.
James Ray Francis. Francis's photography was a combination of activism and fine arts. He is one of the founding members of the Kamoingi Photography Workshop Group that was started in New York City in 1963. He taught photography at Pratt Institute in Brooklyn, the Bed-Stuy Neighborhood Youth Corps, and he was also the director of the Harlem School District. He was also the editor of the Black Photographers Annual. Mabel C2. C2 is considered the first Black woman photojournalist in South Africa. She received her photography training at Zonk magazine in 1956, and she also took pictures for Golden City Post, Drum magazine, Usubamiyu, which is the Herald's weekly title, and state-run Radio Bantu, among other outlets and publications with a significant Black readership. She is noted for her political activism against the apartheid government, but on the other hand, she was a reputed figure amongst the white population. Unlike contemporaries such as Ernest Cole and Peter Magobani, C2 had additional patriarchal structures working against her. Despite her recognition and photographic evidence of her operating a camera, very few photographs have been explicitly attributed to her. The practice of anonymous photography in publications like Drum magazine, combined with the lack of credit to women in the publishing space, reinforced conceptions of authorship from a masculinist model. Lubeda Valley. Between 1985 and 1989, she freelanced for the international news agency Reuters, the Associated Press, and Agency France Presse, and many publications in South Africa and around the world. Valley was one of the founding members of the Afropix collective, which formed in 1982. Her extensive photographic collections indicate an awareness of the role that women played in the anti-apartheid struggle, as well as turning points in the political landscape. Her work has been widely exhibited and published in both documentary films and books. For the last 28 years, Valley has lectured in photography at the Cape Peninsula University of Technology. Mavis Mthandeki. Mthandeki is one of the first black South African women photographers. Having worked as a domestic worker in the white suburbs of Cape Town for many years, Mthandeki quit her job in 1989 to attend a one-year media course at the politically motivated Community Arts Project. Here, Mthandeki learned how to photograph and started to document the lives of the women surrounding her. She captured not only the political transformation of the country and the transition of the women's organizations from the United Women's Congress to the African National Congress Women's League, but also the difficult and dangerous relocation of numerous women from KTC to Tambo Village. In spring 2023, the book Sites of Struggle, The History of the Tambo Village Women was published by Lecturish, and it included photographs by Mavis Mthandeki and included text from Marie Mayerding. Melody McDaniel. Melody McDaniel is a music, fashion, and fine arts photographer and director. Her photography was featured in one of my favorite movies of all time, Love Jones. Her images were used to provide the photography for Nia Long's character, Nina. She has worked with music artists such as Suzanne Vega, Natalie Merchant, which she directed her video for Carnival, and Pharrell Williams, Tori Amos, and Madonna. She has done photo shoots for Rolling Stone magazine, Us magazine, Elle, Interview, Spin, and New York Times magazine. She traveled to Rwanda and Ethiopia for photographs for the Nike Foundation project called The Girl Effect. Robert Singstack. He moved to Chicago to take part in documenting the Black Arts Movement and the Civil Rights Movement of the 1960s. Singstack, or Singstacki, he went on to work for the Muhammad Speaks Publications, which was owned and operated by the Nation of Islam. He also worked for Chicago Mayor Richard Daley and as the cast photographer for Oscar Brown Jr.'s productions. He became the editor and publisher of Memphis Tri-State Defender from 1974 until 1989. Shortly after that, Singstack became president of the Singstack newspaper and the Chicago Defender. He is best known for his portraits of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and Muhammad Ali. His portfolios appeared in many publications, including Ebony, Jet, Essence, Life, and Washington Post. Harry Kemp. His images documented every aspect of Milwaukee's black community, which was historically underrepresented in the mainstream news media. He was known as Milwaukee's visual griot for capturing the rich history and traditions of the local culture in pictures. He worked as a staff photographer for black news organizations in the 1970s, and he was a longtime photographer for the Milwaukee Brewers and the Green Bay Packers. He also taught high school classes in photography and later worked as an independent photojournalist. He taught photography for the Milwaukee Public School System from 1972 to 1974 at North Division, Hamilton, and South Division High Schools. This past year, he was celebrated with 2 community recognitions for his work. He was honored by the historic African American Teachers Organization and deemed the visual griot, and a special and unique award was designed for him. A bellows camera, circa 1912 to 1930s, flush on top with a vintage base and brass plate. He was also recognized and honored at the MCJ annual anniversary celebration this past August. There's also a documentary about him on PBS. And if you don't have PBS or you can't find it on PBS, it is also right here on YouTube. Ernest Withers. He was active for approximately 60 years, with his most noted work being the images he captured during the civil rights movement of the 1950s and 1960s. He traveled with Martin Luther King Jr. during his public life. He was the only black photographer allowed to photograph the Emmett Till murder trial, which brought national attention to the racial violence taking place during the 1950s in Mississippi as well as other places. He was the official photographer for Stax Records for 20 years. It has been estimated that between 1 million and 5 million images were taken by Withers throughout his career, with current efforts in progress for preservation and digitization. Withers is a very controversial figure when it comes to black photographers of the civil rights movement because he has been accused of being an informant for the FBI. In 1946, the FBI began investigating Withers as a possible communist. At that time, he was a member of the United Negro Allied Veterans of America after he served in World War II. That group was alleged by the FBI at the time to have communist ties. There are documents by the FBI that refer to him as an informant for 2 years between 1968 and 1970. If you're interested in finding more about him, there is also a documentary about him that you can find on PBS, and I'm pretty sure you can find it on YouTube, but I haven't checked yet. There are also several videos here on YouTube that talk about Ernest Withers and his ties with the FBI. Did you enjoy my choices of photographers for Black History Month and Women's History Month? Did you learn anything new? Have you heard about these photographers before? If you have, please let me know in the comments below. And as always, make sure you are following me on Instagram at rcooperphotography, and also my film page, which is R Cooper Shoots Film. And if you want to watch the gallery on Instagram instead of watching it on YouTube, you can always go to R Cooper the Gallery. And I have photography zines for sale. If you are interested in purchasing my photography zines, I will leave the link in the description below as to where you can find and purchase my photography zines. Here are my photography zines, starting with Elements, which is my documentation of hip-hop over the past 15 years that I've been a photographer. Then we have Nightseen Kingston, photographs that I took when I went to Kingston, Jamaica back in 2016. We have Unapologetic with my beautiful wife on the cover. And this scene is a documentation of beautiful Black women with natural hairstyles. Captured on 35, which is appropriate for this episode because these are photographs that I have shot with my film cameras that we just spoke about. Then there's Stage Show, my photography of dancehall and reggae concerts between Hartford, Connecticut, New York City, and here in upstate New York. And last but not least, scenes from the 313, which if you do not know where the 313 is, it's Detroit, Michigan. So these are photos that I've taken on various trips to Detroit, which Michigan is my home state. I'm actually from Lansing, Michigan, but Detroit is a city that I hold dear to my heart. The links to all of my photography zines are in the description below.
Please support Black artists. Please support Black art. Please support all artists and support all art. Until the next time, I thank each and every last one of you for tuning in. As always, blessed love.